Hey happy viewers! In today's video we'll see how the hayrack planters we did earlier are doing, planting of a container and how the plants in it are doing, and some tips to take good care of all the plants planted. This is an update video, so to know more about the plants and planting tips, please watch the actual planting video. These are the baskets that we had planted 3 weeks earlier, and all the plants are doing well, and each type of plant has got at least one bloom on it, so I thought it's a good time to give you an update. So this is how the plants looked as soon as we planted, and now there is a lot of color. When it comes to container planting or planting in hanging basket, I normally plan the colors so much before I plant. But this is one experiment I really wanted to push my boundaries and try random colors. The results aren't disappointing after all. Let's take a closer look at the first basket. See how beautifully the white lobelia and the pink snapdragons have intermingled with each other, and they look so gorgeous. So this is how it looked as soon as we planted. And now the pink and the white and the yellow pansies are all looking so good together. Of all the 3 baskets, this basket has got the palest of colors, and so the contrast is so soft and so appealing and calm. The second basket is quite an interesting basket because phlox has a different growth habit compared to the snaps and the pansies. But they all shine so well together despite their distinctive growth habits, and the transition between the apricot pansies to the maroon color pansy is very nice. The tall and the flexible stems of the phlox is adding so much of drama to this basket, especially when it sways in the wind. It looks so beautiful. I precisely wanted phlox in this basket for the same reason. This is how it looked when we planted it 3 weeks earlier, a green basket with not much of blooms, and what a transition. I'm so happy how this basket is coming along, and surprised too because these are colors that are so different from each other, yet they result in such a beautiful blend and they seem to connect and mean somewhere. Maybe that's the glory of nature. Though the plants look so different to each other, all of these plants have similar watering requirements, similar sun requirements, and similar soil requirements. So that is something we have to really pay attention to. Moving to the third basket, not very different from the first basket, except for the color of the snapdragons and the pansies. Centerpiece is white lobelia, which has only few blooms at this point of time, but it's loaded with buds, so probably in a week or two it should be filled with white flowers. This is how it looked when we planted. Again, a green color basket with just 1 or 2 pansies peeking here and there. But I think you can already see the pink color buds. And now it's all in bloom. As I had mentioned earlier, all these baskets have similar watering requirements and sun requirements. I water them once in 2 days, and I do not go for heavy fertilizing at this point of time because it's winter. So I suppose they should be happy with the control release fertilizer that I have added during planting. I did not have much of problems with any of these baskets except for the first one, in which the first snapdragon looked a bit sad for the first 2 weeks. I think the reason is the snapdragon was directly exposed to the sun compared to the other snaps. So I decided to water it every now and then whenever the plant was wilted extra, and also gave it some banana infused water. One thing that I noticed to fix the problem immediately was banana infused water. So I just cut some banana peels and added them to water and let it infuse for 1 or 2 days, and then started to pour that for the snapdragons, and they seem to be happy. Maintenance of these baskets are very simple and straightforward. Just water them regularly. If required, you can give water solubles, but I'm not giving it as it is winter, and I think they are pretty much okay with the infused water and plain water. Most of these plants do not require any deadheading except for the pansies. I deadhead them as and when I see a spent bloom. Most of the plants planted in the baskets are annuals, so they die after their blooming season. Now that brings us to the next question. Do we need to spend for every season? Not really if we plan ahead. I've got many pansies in these baskets. They die before the heat of the summer. That means I need some plants to replace them. So that is the reason I've started some calendula seeds and some snapdragons to use them as filler plants. I started these seeds during the last month of fall, so they should be ready by mid-spring or so. Calendulas can take a lot of heat and they should do really well in summer. There are not a lot of seeds that we can start outside in winter, except a few like Johnny Jumper pansies or alyssums. But don't worry, spring is only around the corner, so you can start them by spring and they should be ready for your summer planting. Next segment of this video is a full update video. It is a container planting video, how it did when we planted, how it did after a month, and how it is doing now. So to begin with, I have added some potting mix, adding some controlled release fertilizer to that and giving it a good mix. The urn that I'm going to plant today is for the outdoors, so it's important to open up the drainage hole. So now there's enough drainage, filling it up with the soil. And then let's start with the planting. For this one, I'm going to use a pink color daisy, African daisy. So this is also known as Osteopermum or osteos. So this plant I started from the seed and I'm going to be using that as my centerpiece. So along the circumference of the urn, I'm going to plant some white alyssums and blue color violas. One key difference when you're planting perennials and annuals is that you don't really have to tease the roots for annuals as you do for perennials. When you tease the roots for the annuals, that's going to put the plant in a lot of shock. So it is going to spend a lot of energy to make the plant live rather than producing flowers. So do not tease the roots when you're planting an annual. I'm almost done with the planting. So giving it a good clean. Now it's ready. The plants will look a little sad on the day of planting, but they should be okay from the next day onwards. So after 10 days, see how beautifully it has started to fill in now. And it's exactly doing what I want to do. The alyssums are starting to spill and the violas are looking so cheerful. The African daisy did not bloom yet. This is such a classic combination. The cooling blues and the whites, they cannot fail you at all. And in just 1.5 months, look at the way they have filled in. Such a glorious sight. I think the white and the green color leaves of the alyssums, the white color flowers of the alyssums, it's really making the violas to stand out. And our daisy is coming. The transition from the blue to the pink to the white is all so good. And this urn, I love it so much. And so this is the look from one of the sides. Oh, and coming to the hayracks, I did plant a few sweet peas at the back. By summer, I think they should be ready to flower, and I planted it wantedly at the back because they can hold on to the fence and trail onto it. These baskets receive good morning sun, 4 to 5 hours of morning sun and maybe 1 hour of afternoon sun, but they do not get the hot afternoon sun. Maintenance of these hayracks and urn is again pretty simple. Water them daily until the plants are established, and after the first 2 weeks I started to water them once in 2 days. The important thing when it comes to hayracks or any hanging basket is that the plants are totally dependent on us for nutrients and for water. So the key to be successful with our hanging baskets is water them regularly and provide any extra nutrient that you think the plant requires. The common mistake that we tend to do when it comes to hanging basket is selecting plants that do not go well with each other. So it is important to find plants that can live harmoniously together. This geranium is a sweet surprise. I found a tiny stem of this in our backyard, so I thought I'll plant this in a pot. I planted this, I think, by the end of fall, so it should be around 2.5 months now. And this is the first set of flowers that has bloomed. Such a gorgeous color. I forgot to mention earlier, the sweet peas that I have planted are 2 different types. One is a dwarf variety and one is the social climber variety. So they both should be behaving in a different way as well. So let's wait and see. There are only few more weeks to spring, which means we should get our veggie beds ready for summer harvest plants. If you're planning to start your seeds indoors, you should do now. We have started a few seeds and they're doing awesomely. We will be sure to provide an update of how our vegetable seedlings are doing soon enough, hopefully. To receive updates about how we prepare our veggie beds, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. That's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed all these flowers as much as I do. And do let me know if you have tried any of these in your own gardens and how they are doing. Thank you for watching. Let's learn, support, and inspire through our gardens. Happy gardening!